Ready. 24.
All right. All right, fellas. Let's do it. Episode 24. Whoop, that's 5. 24 coming at you. How you guys doing? Hey, we've already been having fun. We have some great topics tonight to go over. LeBeau, show us your best side right there. All right, let's do it. All right, we're gonna do tiny houses versus your childhood home. Now, I think we could all agree that tiny houses has kind of become a thing, but when you think about the house that you grew up in, it wasn't that big either. Like, houses have just gotten bigger over the years, so that's going to be fun to talk about. Trends. This one I picked. I think it's going to be fun. The old school P90X workouts versus, the Tybo and all that stuff. Yeah, versus like what's happening today with
JA Cycles.
JA Cycle. Let's go. With mobility and strength training and all the things that are hot right now as far as the industry and what's happening in fitness. Urban legends and myths. I hope you guys thought of some that you remember from growing up.
I thought we kind of covered this once before, but we're going to roll with this because this is a good topic.
It is a good topic, and I think I agree with you. When I sent it out to the chat, I think we did mention it. And then friendships, like we've done variations of this, but friendships in a digital age, I thought that would be fun to talk about because, I mean, the four of us, we're always communicating almost daily with a text thread and things like that, just sharing different things in completely different ways than when we grew up. So we'll kind of talk about the contrast and how that works in today's world. So that's going to be fun. All right.
Yeah.
Fellas, how are ya?
We're doing great.
Yeah.
Doing good, man. Appreciate it. Good to see you guys once again. I always look forward to this day. And it's like there's some weeks that we all get so tied up in just our daily lives. And one of us will hit back, be like, are we still there? Are we still, you guys still good? And then this happens, which is like, it's a great time of the week, right?
I don't know. I don't think any of you guys have children in school anymore, but it's that time of the year, man. Everybody's getting sick. Everybody's coming down with something. So we're going through a cycle ourselves of, the sniffles, the wintertime sniffles. So I know out in California, a ton of people are getting sick too. It's so weird. I don't know if it's like a variant of something. I don't know.
It's still flu season. That's what's going on. It's still
It's so weird. But it's all of a sudden everybody's getting sick for some reason.
Might be that air quality from the fires too.
Yeah, man. I told you guys I wasn't feeling good either. Or past couple of weeks, I'm feeling better now, but still a little nasally and all that stuff you could hear from my voice in the morning.
Yeah.
Blow chunks, out the nose. It's pretty amazing.
Good to know.
We kind of talked about this a little bit offline, but did you guys notice I'm in an actual library?
Yeah.
Go.
So
Sorry,
LeBeau actually does read.
Real books here in the library.
It's not AI. It's actually real.
My father's ashes.
Tangible. What? Oh yeah.
Is that really your dad's ashes?
Yeah, no, it is. It is a
That's
part
awesome.
of his ashes.
That's
Do
cool.
you guys have any of your loved ones like ashes or anything? That's an off subject.
My Bree has a necklace with her Oma's ashes in the middle. It's like a stone that has it.
It's cool.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, cool. People
I have a lot of my dad's memorabilia stuff, like a pair of his boots and guitar, clothes, things like that.
You ever
guitar, bro?
Yeah, guitar.
The red one? Bing.
Not the red one. My sister has that. I have the Bajo Sexto.
You have the red
string.
Yeah.
Guitar.
Nice.
Yeah. Mm.
Dope.
Would you ever or have you ever put the boots on?
They're like size 6 from what I
they're
remember.
smaller. My dad's feet were like an 8, I think, if I remember.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You could probably get them on though.
On his finger, baby.
Yeah. Big good workout.
He'd be all
But
What do you do with that stuff? Like, what do you like? This is a crazy subject. What do you do with that stuff as life goes on? Are you planning on passing that stuff down? Like, what's gonna happen
Of
to it?
course, dude. Those are
Are you gonna give
heirlooms,
it to
homie.
like your nephews or like even your stuff, like even stuff of yours? Like, have you planned on like giving any of your stuff away to your family members, your nephews, or anything like that? Like, what do you do with like your guys' belongings? Carlos, Vince, what are you guys gonna do? Like, are you planning on being cremated? You guys want to get buried? Like, what is your guys' plans? What are your guys' things?
It's so funny. Actually, I like the subject. I don't know anybody in my family that's ever been cremated for no other reason than the family just isn't comfortable with it. I think from my perspective, when I die, I don't really care if I get cremated or buried. Some people say they want to be cremated because they don't want to spend, the money. Others say they want to be cremated because they see the burial as a type of confinement, right? Even though they're dead. I personally don't care. But in terms of my belongings, I do think about that a lot. I don't have any belongings from my mother per se, other than one of her dishes. We share ownership of like the albums that she had at her house. But I don't really have like anything that I hold on to. For my stuff though, I am going to be very detailed about what I want to happen to them after I pass in a will. And everything I buy, I'm always thinking like, what is going to happen to this after I pass away? So that's actually an excellent question, because
Do you have a will
watches.
already?
What's
Do you
that?
already have a will?
No, not yet, but we're working on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to work on it. There are a couple of things that we're working on, like a trust, what's going to be best. How do we keep, the money and all that stuff in a safe place? But I do think about often, or I think about how I'm going to divvy up my belongings to my children, because I do want them to have all my stuff, right? Everything from record files, like my recordings from my records, from my personal recordings, right, to my lyric book, to my jewelry, my watches, my rings, and all that stuff. So I do give that a lot of thought.
Yeah, that's good. What about you, Vince? You have like certain things that you want to, pass on to the kids or like, friends, family members, like things like that. What are your plans? Like, I know this is a crazy subject, honestly, because
Yeah.
is it taboo talking about this? Like, is that one of the
No,
things? Because
it's actually a great subject. We didn't plan it, but it came out. That's good.
yeah, I don't like talking about this. I just got to be honest to you guys. I don't really like enjoying talking about my death and me going on, all those things. Like it's really uncomfortable for me. I guess I don't know why it's uncomfortable. You know what I mean?
so
But it's not that I feel like I'm going to go to hell or something. That's not the issue. It just feels like I don't like, sometimes it just feels like there's so much to do, or it feels like there's not enough planning or enough time with your loved ones to feel like it's time, basically. So that's why I don't like talking about it too much. But so I think it seems like a little bit of a taboo to me, but I don't know if you guys are good with that or what. And just curious, like, what are your guys' plans? Have you planned your funeral? Like, have you thought about like those type of things? Like, have you thought how you want it to go down? Like Carlos, in your case, like, you've thought about the fact that you were going to get, buried as opposed to cremated, I guess, or it didn't really matter or whatever. So what are your thoughts, Vince? What is like, have you planned this out?
no, so these are as same with Carlos. Like a lot of things you start thinking about and start mentally, Brie and I have talked about, because me and both of us are going to be cremated, because it's like I appreciate the ceremony of being buried. I understand it. You know, I totally understand that part, but we've kind of decided that, but also, like, as far as like things, like material things, there's some things that I have, but there's not. I always think of like, man, there's not a lot of things that I like kind of, I think Joe could understand. You have a lot of technical stuff. You're like, oh, here's my first computer that I ever like, stuff like that, where you're like things that you're like, man, I just, for me, I don't have a lot of those things. I know when my parents passed down, there's like, old photo albums and things like that. A lot of my dad is a musician, so he has guitars and stuff that he'll pass along to each of us kids or whatever, and things like that. But and I always look to like things my grandparents passed down to them, to kind of like you were saying, Joe and Carlos, your mother's dish, that it's something so basic, but that holds a lot of value to us, just simple things like that. There's not like really these huge material things that to pass down, other than making sure our kids are taken care of once we're gone. But this, I have thought about that, and it's like one of those things where you're like, it's taboo, because you're like, I don't want to think about it, because I'm like, man, I'm still like, I feel like I'm right now hitting off the 10th fairway, I still have 9 to play,
Sure, yeah. So,
yeah.
So you said, Vince, you said that you're going to be cremated. You and Brie are going to be cremated. So are you going to be cremated and kept like in an urn, like somewhere? Give that to someone?
Nah, whatever.
Buried? Like how's your cremation?
No,
Like it's
just whatever our kids want to do with
A Ziploc bag.
You're going to leave it up to the kids to decide what they want to do or whatever?
If they, what's funny is, speaking of cremations, because there's a lot of people who like are Disney. I always think about Brie, and like, because a lot of people, they want to go to Disney and like spread the ashes, and if you're caught doing this, you're banned for life doing something like that.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude.
So
I'm curious to this, because let me add to this, because my brother, when he passed, he ended up being cremated. It was a cost decision, which is unfortunate, right? Sometimes there's cost decisions involved with things, and the one thing I think was kind of a little bit unfortunate about that is that when you're cremated and you're not buried in one spot, and you're kind of earned, and then you're like gave to a family member. The unfortunate thing of that is that one family member has you. And so all the other family members don't have like a central location where they can go and they can mourn and they can, grieve your loss somewhere. Yeah, like somewhere centralized to be able to do that. So that's one of the reasons I don't necessarily want to be cremated and put it in.
So my Bree's grandmother, she they made necklaces with, and so each of the grandkids had a part of her. So it's not funny, but it is at the same time. And I'm sure
it's fine, dude.
Her cousin had he had a necklace with Oma. Well, it busted, like, and it went all over
everywhere. Yeah, I've heard that before, dude.
Was it like a powdered donut?
No, it was more like a
like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I want to tell you a funny story that actually happened with my dad's ashes. Actually, Jordan was really little when my dad passed away, and one day she comes running in the kitchen and she's like, "Grandpa, Grandpa, Grandpa." I'm like, "What's going on with Grandpa?" Like, da, da, da. Anyways, she spilled my dad's ashes, dude. These are ashes that are actually picked up and put back into the box. So that stuff can happen, definitely.
So your dad has dust in his hair, in his
he probably got carpet
hair ashes,
fibers in his ashes. Yes. Yeah. What about you, Joe? What I know you. I don't want you to avoid getting out of this, man. This is your time, bro. What you do? What you thinking?
Well, let me first of all say, like, having had to do several funerals, there's like a lot of different reasons why people do stuff. You guys already mentioned one of them. When it comes to cremation, a lot of times it is a cost, thing. Other times it's a choice. And, then you have the open casket, closed casket. You have all of these things. But what I've noticed, if I had to like generalize before I get to what, for me, people who want to make things easier on the family and aren't necessarily concerned with cost. It's either cremation or closed casket. And it's one of those things where it's just an easier ceremony or an easier celebration of life if one of those two things are happening, as opposed to there she is or there he is, right? And so there's other reasons too why people do certain things. They don't want it to be as hard. They want it to be a little bit lighter in the celebration of their life, as opposed to like there they are, because you got to admit that it's a little bit different when you're actually seeing them, in the funeral setting, as opposed to just seeing a photo or just seeing an urn or whatever. But anyway, that's besides the point. I haven't thought about, me personally, whether it would be a cremation or me there, my bald head or whatever, who knows?
You never thought about it, bro? You have never?
I haven't thought about, I mean, I guess my default is, just put me out there on display, I guess. I don't know.
You didn't say that, once a stipulation is, once you are buried, I want to be in a suit and have a toupee on. The vanilla ice toupee.
Definitely not. Definitely not. But
you guys worked it out to like which clothing you want, like all that kind of stuff.
I haven't figured that out.
People do that. People do that.
Dude,
like,
I have thought about, bro. I have like every here and there, every once in a while, like we'll talk about it, and I always thought it would be cool, not only to, I don't know if it's cool or not. It's just, you think about different things, but like if I look around in this room right here are the things that I care most about, specifically like on this shelf next to me. So I have like the sand from my wedding ceremony, for my family. I've got family pictures. I've got cycling shoes. I've got my graduation stuff from college, school. I've got some
knickknacks too, like knickknacks even too, right, Joe?
Yeah, like on this side I have Transformers, because those are like these things that growing up that I'm always gonna love, so I have some Transformers, I have some Broncos and Mario Brothers memorabilia. And then in front of me right here, I have all my Bibles and study Bibles and all the research stuff for just getting into God's word. And so everything around me, if I really like, I just thought about it now, thanks to you guys, like in this room is probably everything that I would want to give to my son, to my family, to my friends. And what would it be like if, during the viewing, you had like a piece of each one of these things around the casket, or if they decided to put me, toast me or whatever, and then have just a display of these things, you know what I mean? I think that would be really cool. Like, man, these were the shoes that he wore for when he was on his bike all the time. This is the Bible that he studied. This was the game that he grew up playing. This was, his family that he loves so much, whatever. I don't know. Those are just ideas.
Dude, it's a lot of the things, like, even to go more deep, like I remember my first Atari, how cool. I wish I still had that thing, what happened to that? What happened to my first Nintendo? Things like that. It would have been cool to have. Do you guys have your first Nintendo?
I don't, but I'll tell you what I do have. I have the GNC drum machine, and I'm going to gift that to one of my kids.
Right.
Yeah. Dude, I gave that back to you you're like, oh, I'm going to use it for something. Instead, you're like, I'm going to keep it for myself.
I did just mention that all the things that really matter to me, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Check that out.
Dang, a cassette, bro.
That's a cassette, bro. I have the God's New Creation one up there too. I just can't reach it from more.
That's dope.
Here. But yeah, everything that matters. I was super intentional about putting that in this room. So this room should be replicated.
Thanks to you, I have framed memorabilia. So thank you for that.
Yeah, man.
I have my boot from when I was a kid. I got it bronzed.
That's cool.
Right.
My cowboy boots from being a kid.
Yeah.
I thought that was Joe's dad's boots.
Yeah, it's crazy. I guess I give more thought to like what I want to pass down as opposed to what I want the ceremony to be like. I kind of see the ceremony piece being more so for the survivors to deal with, mourning, and to be able to create a healthy bridge to be able to move on past the loss. I see the ceremony, the burial, the cremation stuff being more so for the survivors, whereas, you know, what you hand down or what you will to your loved ones, to your children, to your family, to your friends, I feel like that is more for you, right? More for me to be able to determine that. But it is something that's, you know, that's fun to think about, because you want to be able to plan things out, right? And not to say that you can plan death. That's not what I'm saying, but I think it's a good thing to think about it so that you are as prepared as possible with everything other than the death itself, right? So, so you don't have to deal with any legal issues. Your family doesn't have to deal with any financial issues. All of that is taken care of ahead of time, and they're free to mourn without burden, right? They're free to move on without any additional burden. That would be, as you know, that samurai in that movie Samurai. I don't know if you guys remember that. The samurai master says that would be a beautiful death.
Yeah. Let me show you one other thing, guys. I love that you said that. My dad made this for me when I was a kid in Mexico. So it's like literally a leather handmade thing.
I remember seeing that on your, you had that on your shelf, right?
Yeah. And then when my dad passed, I actually got his right here.
Yeah,
so it's
cool.
kind of the same type of thing. So
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, it's great. Here's what I think that if anything, we have an advantage over, and we can potentially tie this into one of the topics that we were going to talk about, which is like friendship in a digital age. Maybe we can, let me see if I could tie this together. One of the advantages that we have when we do pass is social media and the history of everything that we thought about were important to us, that we thought it was enough that we would say something online, that we would share that memory, would share that photo. And so if you think about before social media, we would just, it was all memory. Hey, he used to do this, or he always thought about this, or he always said this. I mean, now you could literally screenshot, man, this quote that he put on that day was everything that this person was, you know, or this photo, or this whatever. You could forever have their thoughts and photos and things like that.
I've totally thought of that, bro. How could you back up your Facebook feed? You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, I don't know that it's going to help you
idea, like,
you
dude,
know.
for that exact reason. Like,
I know.
Want to digitize your Facebook like feed and keep it like for those exact reasons. You know what I mean?
I know we talked about that was kind of a reason for doing this, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just to document kind of conversations and stories. So I mean, how thankful am I for having this, you know?
I think one of the coolest funerals I ever went to was a friend of mine, or Joe, you know, it was Jose's brother, and the coolest thing, and I want this at my funeral, is like I want my ceremony to be in the church that's on the same side as the you know, where you're buried. What's the grave, right?
The grave
cemetery,
the graveyard.
Yeah.
And what they did was they had his funeral, and then after his funeral, they had a mariachi band follow him to his gravesite, dude. And I thought that was like the coolest like funeral I ever been to ever before. Mm-hmm. And then the second thing I always thought about for my funeral is I want all of my friends and my close family members, and I don't even know if this is even like possible or legal or what, but all of my close family members and friends to actually dig my grave like by hand with a shovel and like bury me that way. I don't know if that's even possible or what.
I think they could take like a handful and kind of put it.
Yeah, like
that's
the symbolism of it. They can probably like, you know, do a couple of shovel, you know, but I don't know that.
That's kind of lame though, right? Like I want you fools to be digging, dude. Like,
well, yeah, I mean, you could probably do that on your own property. Like if you had property, you could do that. But even at that, you need certain permits to be able to bury a human being on your property. The issue that you run into obviously is a liability issue with, these organizations that are either nonprofit or for profit, right? Being the cemetery or the graveyard, that they have liability that they have to think about. So they wouldn't let your family dig the grave because of that.
Carlos
that'd be cool though.
Carlos would delegate his half anyway.
You're like, oh, I'm so tired.
A good leader is a good delegator, bro. I thought you knew that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one of the coolest things that I've ever seen when somebody died, and it's not anybody that I know, but I don't know if you guys remember when they televised Notorious B.I.G.'s procession down.
Down his
Where was he
street,
from? The Bronx or whatever.
Brooklyn.
In Brooklyn, yeah. And they started playing his music full blast, and people started, celebrating his life literally, like as his body passed by them. That's pretty dope. I would love not so much a version of that, but I would love, my passions, my work, like music, to be celebrated, when I pass as part of remembering, my legacy. That would be dope.
Yeah.
Put that in your will, man. That's how it gets done, right?
Yeah, but again, I think the family has to feel it, because at the end of the day, like, I'm already in heaven. I'm like already partying it up.
But everyone always plans that funeral based off of like, these were the last wishes that Carlos would have wanted, right? Like, so they are your last wishes. It's your final meal in jail.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, I mean, put that in there, and maybe hopefully your family members will honor that, and they'll have some direction at least as to what you would like.
Dude, I would want a DJ to be up there with the pastor or the padrecito, and everybody comes up and gives their condolences or whatever, and then all of a sudden you hear beep, 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 the intelligent lighting comes on. Oh, where'd he go, dude? He just dropped off. We lost him. Anyway, he'll be back. And then you have, the bass drop.
The Sunshine album kick on.
Yeah. And then you got it going, dude. You got fools dancing in the aisle. Oh yeah. That'd be maybe even one of my kids performing my song. Oh, that would be dope.
Now we're just getting carried away, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Feel me.
Oh yeah. Now I kind of want to die.
That'll be kind of weird.
Oh my god, it makes me feel a lot better though, honestly, talking about it, because no one wants to talk about that crap. No one wants to deal with that stuff. So
that was good stuff, dude. I'm glad you brought it up.
Yeah, it's a good topic. It's a good topic.
Sure.
Yeah, and I think it does kind of lend itself to that last topic, and we could kind of go in reverse order of how we communicate in a digital age, friendship in a digital age. I feel like we've been doing this the whole time. We talk all week long, if not daily, the four of us, via text, via sharing TikTok, via memes, chatting. It could be anywhere from saying what's up to what's the topic to here's something funny to it's kind of fun because it's an ongoing conversation. We'll during the Super Bowl, and we're going to talk about this. I think, are we doing Super Bowl stuff? We might, like, halftime. We could squeeze that in maybe. But I'm watching Super Bowl halftime, and all of a sudden I get a text from Carlos into our thread. Like, it was awesome. It's just like an ongoing conversation that you don't like. There's not a restriction to the friendship, if you will, in this digital age, and at least what we have, where we have the freedom to just, hey, I'm on vacation, but check this out. I know you're busy, but whoa, it's like it's kind of fun to just have that ongoing connection, if you will, that wasn't possible when we grew up, at least.
Yeah, it's funny. I remember growing up, certain friends moved away, right, to a different state, or they moved away across town, and you never hear from them again. They just kind of fell off the planet. They're just gone. Now I'm thinking, even like me, now I'm thinking like even my 11-year-old, she had a little friend that moved away to Montana. they actually still message each other.
Snapping.
It's crazy. They stay in touch, when their family comes into town to visit other family, they hook up with other families from the school. And it's awesome that way, right? That technology definitely has erased any boundaries that were there before as it pertains to, geographical distance. People are able to stay in touch. I mean, Vince is a good example, right? He would have been gone like in a heartbeat, forgotten, with no trail, no second consideration.
I mean,
We would have totally forgot. We would have replaced him already with a better friend. Instead, instead,
ain't nobody.
Instead, we're stuck with him because now we have to talk to him. We have no excuse.
No, it's
What
good.
did Kendrick say?
I don't know.
I don't know. What did he say?
What's his diss track song?
I don't know. His tight pants were distracting. I don't know. I couldn't understand him either.
Tight pants.
I think he said something about A minor or something.
Oh man, is that what you're talking about?
No, that's for Carlos, but
think about this. Can you guys, and we don't have to name names, but we all know somebody who never went to social media, never made a profile, and you could remember them, but there's really no way to ever contact them again.
No, I mean, I know people that have not been on Facebook or never made a profile or anything, but I'm constantly in contact with them.
Well, I'm just saying, like, have you ever thought about a long lost friend and you're like, man, I wonder if they have a profile. I wonder if and they just don't. And you just, wow, I guess just.
Yeah. I have an old buddy. Do you guys remember Chad Martin?
Yeah.
He lives out here. He lives out here in Jacksonville.
What?
And I haven't been able to connect with them, but I'm like always thinking, here's another
beat him in a
example.
50-yard dash when everybody thought he was the fastest.
Your freaking tree trunks whipping along. Dude, so I have a buddy, Justin, who I did worship music with, and this was back it's probably been like 10 years already, and just kind of lost track of each other. But he actually ended up moving to Spain, and just the other day, because with the new podcast I started, I wanted to connect with him on it, and just messaged him, and boom, popped up. So we're gonna connect. I haven't talked to him in a while, so it's just staying connected to people like that. And he's all the way in Spain, and so be cool. Like you said, if we didn't have this, just gone.
Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna say, besides family, if I don't see somebody, they're like, I forget.
Dude,
I need visual cues.
You get home and you're like, you see your girls and you're like, who are you?
Oh goodness,
dude, I'm serious. I have a hard time remembering people, and if I don't see them, dude, if I don't have some sort of reminder that they're still part of this universal fabric, I'm like, there's no hope, bro. No hope.
And how are you? And again, it's kind of fun. It's kind of a spinoff, but when you do see somebody like at a Nuggets game or a concert or at the mall or at the store or whatever that you just haven't seen forever, are you the type that like, dang, I just saw that dude, and you like walk the other way? Or are you the type that I'm gonna go say what's up to him, man? I haven't seen him forever. Like if you see them before they see you, like what is your thing?
Or even better, when you run into that person and you're like, oh, hey, you. And you're like, hey, I had to put your number in my phone, but you put him in as the guy I just seen at the Nuggets game.
You like take a quick picture on the side, try to remember.
Yeah. You're like,
if I
hand him your phone and you're like, hey, put your contact info in, because I don't know how to spell your name.
This actually happened to me a while back. It's been probably 10 years. No, maybe not that long. Maybe 5 to 7 years. Do you guys remember Jimmy? Jimmy. I don't want to say his last name, but Jimmy from church.
Yeah.
Oh no,
The guy that
I thought
sang?
you were talking-
No, I don't think he sang.
I
But
thought you were
anyway,
talking
so
about back in the
anyways.
day, Jimmy.
yeah, remember Jimmy and Jose, Jimmy and Joe?
No, you remember Jimmy, redheaded Jimmy, back in the day?
No, we're talking about two different Jimmys. Let me finish my story. Hold on. So when I lived out in Stapleton, I used to go to a coffee shop over there all the time, like religiously in the morning. I'd go there for my first half of the day. This is when I was on the road a lot. I'd go there, have a cup of coffee, work. Anyway, I ran into Jimmy there, and I remembered who he was because he looked the same. And I feel like I had seen him on social media as well, and we had connected on social media. But with him, I actually went up to him and talked to him, and it was cool. We had, great conversation and everything. But with most people, I will tell you, it's kind of awkward. And I don't know if that's just me, but when you see somebody that you haven't seen in a long time, what do you
Yeah.
talk about? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't go back 20 years and talk about, what you did 20 years ago. Like, what do you do? I still have people coming up asking me if I still do music. I'm like, dude, I'm 50 years old, bro. Like, no, I haven't done music in like 20 years, man. So
You used to do music?
yeah, dude, and I was pretty good. I was pretty good. You should buy my record. And
You're pretty dang good.
and it's just weird, right? To me, it's more awkward than anything. Not to dissuade or discourage anybody from coming to say hello, but there is an awkward moment. I don't know if you guys agree with that or not.
I guess it depends on who it is, how I'm feeling, where I'm at, how I look. Like there's like a ton of variations.
How you look?
Yeah, like if you're all like,
You don't want to look busted.
yeah, you're all looking
Yeah.
all jacked.
I
up.
never look busted, so
Like-
I'm good.
Yeah.
I look busted sometimes, but my busted is actually pretty dope.
Stylish busted.
Have you ever walked away from somebody and you're like, man, life has not been kind to that guy? I have
That's
done
just,
that.
That's just being mean.
No, but you don't say it out loud. You're just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Do I look like that guy does?
Yeah, you do.
And he's walking away like, geez, look at that
Wow,
guy.
man, it's not been good to that guy.
I know, dude. Maybe.
No, I mean that's a reality. Some people have
Yeah,
aged not so gracefully. Maybe they've abused their body. Maybe they, who knows, been through a lot of stress in their life, and it shows. I don't know, but you're right. Yeah, I've totally done that. Like, ooh,
Ooh, I voted for you for
if
prom
he's-
queen.
he's actually 2 years younger than me. So,
If
Oh,
if you look like that, Joe, then that person's like, ugh, this guy already judging.
no, I don't
Typical
make that
typical
face.
pastors.
I don't say that, dude. You act like I went up to him and
Come
like,
on, PK.
Yeah, that's what
no, that's like later. That's like
you're like.
I always approach people, dude. If I notice someone and I recognize them, even if I don't remember their name, even if I don't, they weren't my friend, but I know them from somewhere, I always approach them all. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing? It's awkward at first, but whatever, it's only awkward for a second. You can come up.
It's definitely more awkward. It's definitely more awkward if you recognize each other and then you don't say what's up. That's definitely, I'm with you, LeBeau. Like, I would walk up to somebody if I knew them, but that doesn't happen to me often.
Dude, I remember one time, I think your cousin Philip, we saw him somewhere, I think at a restaurant, and I had just like shaved my head. It was like one of the very first time. He's like, "Oh, hey, what's up? You lost your hair, huh?"
It sounds like you.
It was like the first thing he said. He's like,
Can you
"Hey,
help me
what's up?"
find it?
You lost your hair, huh? That's funny, dude. Yeah, that sounds like something he would say too. But
But Mexican people, hold on. Let me go here real quick. Mexican people, you see them though, they have no filter, bro. They'll be like, not only did you lose your hair, but you also got fat. Hey, ya estás gordito, ¿verdad?
Yeah.
Come on, bro. No, I'm not that fat, bro.
there's been a lot of times where I
They're like cheeky,
sparked a
cheeky.
little conversation.
I'm keeping the wrinkles just away.
Dude, it's natural Botox. It's like a donut a day keeps the Botox away.
No, you don't want to get all.
That's awesome.
Bro, there's truth to that, though. Look at me.
A donut a day keeps the Botox away.
That's fun.
Dude, we need that.
There's been
t-shirt
many
for our
times where I
merch.
actually like start to talk to someone and then you know, even just being friendly to people, right? Just being friendly to perfect strangers. There's been many a times I've talked to perfect strangers. I happen to recognize them, whatever. And then, you know, you start talking to them before you know it. Oh, they went to school with so-and-so and they went to school with this person. And all of a sudden, like before you, hey bro, we're cousins, bro. Like what? You know what I mean? It's been many a times that's like actually happened to me. It's crazy.
Dude, but you have the biggest family, and this coming from a Mexican dude like Zero Generation. You're related to everybody, homie.
We are related to a lot of people, that's for sure, dude. It's crazy.
Dude, that's crazy. That's crazy. That actually happened to me. I had somebody that I've known actually from high school, dude. We all know them. I don't know. I forget what their name is now, but it's in my messenger. They messaged me like 2 weeks ago and were like, oh, hey, I just met your niece, so-and-so at work. I was like, what? She's like, yeah, we worked together and I just found out she was your niece. I was like, whoa, what a small world. So you're totally right. I mean, you just talk to somebody for a little bit and there's that, what's that rule?
7 rules of separation or something like that.
Yeah.
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 So we were at a concert and I didn't buy the tickets, but my sister took us to Jason Aldean last year.
Why'd you have to put that disclaimer out?
It was a good I mean, I'm not like, I don't listen to a lot of country, but they're great. Like the concerts are amazing. Anyway, we're like, you know, getting ready to
Take a shot.
listen, and we're getting ready to just have fun and just hanging out. And this guy like just stands up that's sitting in front of us. He goes, Joe, I used to take your spin classes. And I'm like, oh, dude, that's so cool. Then,
Oh, yeah.
like there was silence in the middle of a concert. It was really weird. But anyway,
You're like, well, giddy up.
yeah.
You're drinking too many carbs, dude.
I know. But out of like, it was just kind of random. Out of
Try that in a small town. Did you tell him that, dude?
It was a great concert. That was a great concert. Anyway, tiny houses. Let's talk about it. Let's go up. I like that one. There's a lot of. I would say there's a ton of different ways you can go with the conversation. Anywhere from the whole trend of tiny houses to pulling, you know, a trailer, to building it on top of a truck, to building your own place, to even people who have missions where they'll go and build tiny houses for homeless. Like there's like all kinds of varieties of this phenomenon, if you will.
And we were talking about our childhood, so we can tie this into this things that we were talking just right now with like seeing people in their childhood and our past. These are things, you know, this is all the point of this whole thing, is that it's docutainment. We're documenting like our lives together. So we'll talk a little. I wanted to like compare like a tiny home compared to where you live now, compared to the childhood homes that we grew up in. Like if you take the 3 separate contrasts, dude, like these are like 3 separate worlds.
Yeah. First of all, dude, I don't think either of you guys can say that you lived in a small house. Number one.
Oh, here we go.
Number two, I'm the only one. I'm the only one in this group that grew up in a small house. So don't even try and fake the fun. You guys were like the Donald Trumps of Commerce City. You guys.
Oh my
Dude. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Our whole square footage was like 800 square feet. Bro.
There's
like,
no way.
So
Dude.
what did we have? Like 200 square feet more than you? Like
You had that whole villa to yourself outside.
bro,
the house.
no, that wasn't growing up, bro. That was when I was like still living as an adult with my grandparents. Bro. Like that's not like considered growing up, dude. I didn't have that until I was like 15. 16
His uncle lived over there.
Yeah.
His uncle was staying there.
Dang.
Dude, my room was tiny. My room was small. It was tiny, like a
It's
twin.
same size as mine.
I had a twin bed.
It was a jail cell.
In there. It was a jail cell, dude.
Dude, I had a small room. Remember, my dad added onto our house.
Yeah.
And because he did it himself, the roof was like you could literally touch.
Yeah,
the
like
roof.
5 foot.
Like
It all
we're not,
it was
none of
6
us
foot.
are like 6 foot or anything. You just, you know.
Remember
Dude,
Jeff used to hit his head like when he was walking in the back, dude?
There was all
It
the,
was
all the
short.
popcorn was scraped off where Jeff's head would go.
So we grew up in some tiny houses, dude. Come on, could you live in a
Yeah,
tiny
yeah,
house
yeah.
now?
All right. Okay. All right.
Foundational and one of them
Whatever.
was portable,
All right.
but they were both small.
All right. Yeah. Whatever.
We used to say that Carlos, like, because he lived right next to the train tracks, so him and his neighbors would have to switch address numbers every time the train would come by.
Dude, I never got used to that train coming by, dude.
Dude,
ever.
it was crazy,
It
bro.
sounded like you were like our house was on the like it was on the tracks. Like it
Dude.
sounded like you were gonna die every time that train came by.
Dude,
crazy.
so usually when we like stayed the night over somebody's house, it was usually Joe's house, right? Because Joe had that
He had
big
the
area.
biggest house. He had the biggest area.
Yeah, he had that big area in the back outside of his room.
He had all the food in the fridges in the back.
The burritos, dude.
Yeah.
Burritos in the fridge, dude.
There was a couple times where we stayed over your place, and I remember the one time like we were like laying in your hallway, bro.
At my house?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, yes, dude. Of course.
Sleeping in the hallway. And dude, I freaking like had 3rd-degree burns on my knees from your heater.
Yes, I was gonna say the heater. I thought the house. I thought my coat was gonna turn on fire from the
dude.
Your house used to be so hot, Carlos said it would create condensation on the windows, like it would like drip, dude. It was so hot.
Dude, check this out, bro. I couldn't even sneak in girls in that house. You open the door and everybody's like right there. Like, excuse me, mom. Yeah, dude, it was whack. Yeah, it was whack.
I'll tell you what, man, that takes a lot of confidence for it, because I remember like you used to still bring like girls. Well, I mean, back in the day.
You already know, son.
He was like, that took some confidence. It's like, yeah, this is where I live.
So what?
Don't worry about it. I'll be somebody.
So what? This is where I live. Yeah. You're coming and going. It's up to you.
According to ChatGPT, in the 80s, the average new family home was about 1,700 square feet, somewhere in there. And then it peaked in the 2010s. The houses were right around 2,500 square feet, and they dipped a little bit down to 2,200 square feet on average in 2023. I mean, obviously we've seen every kind of, but on average, like that's
bro, that 4,000 square foot house you have right now, Joe, that's a lot of house to clean, dude. I don't know. Do you have a maid and stuff, bro, over there?
Seguro que sí.
Se llama Vivi.
He's like, have you seen my office?
I go like this, I'm gonna hit the back of my bike.
Bro. Oh man,
a little tight in
here, bro. That's like 20 feet to that bike, bro. You get a workout just getting to the bike, bro.
Dude, Vince's house was so big, and his family still wanted it bigger. Son, we were like, they made us dig out his basement. They're like,
oh my goodness,
our house is not big enough. Get cracking, youngins.
Dude, that was great.
Digging that whole basement out, like bucket by bucket out the back window.
How long did that take us, bro? Bucket by bucket.
Dude,
that was wild.
What were the permits?
That was hard work.
There are no permits.
There's no permits.
It was like the permit was like our parents permitted us to work on the.
I know, dude. But I'll tell you, it is kind of cool though, because in today's day and age, right, people are wanting to minimize their carbon footprint, which part of me respects that. The other part of me, I still don't know all the science behind, global warming and all that stuff. But I will tell you that common sense tells me, and you guys can debate if you want, but common sense tells me, right, that there is a finite amount of oil, there is a finite amount of lumber, there is a finite amount of water, right? Once it's gone, it's gone. So to me, if you are one of those people that is trying to minimize your carbon footprint, I say more power to you, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I can't thrive under those circumstances. I have 2 kids. You know what I'm saying? I have I have a Yukon truck that I have to park indoors. But if people can do that, I think that's dope. You know what I'm saying? Like it's commendable.
But
so you would not live in a tiny house, bro?
I would live in a tiny house after my kids move out, after they're gone. In fact, Mandy and I have talked about it numerous times.
After they move out, you're going to be in a nursery home.
So no, that's another. That's
dead. Is that like?
I'm all for
dead. The wrong expression,
dude. Y'all are on another level right now.
Dead.
I have a coughing attack.
Oh my you guys are out of control.
Oh my goodness.
No,
I would do it. I mean, you know, once I'm done living, once I'm done, you know what I'm saying? Like once I'm done doing podcasts, I'm gonna go retire, go head to pasture, homie.
Yeah. I think he done it to him, man. His head's
bro.
His head's gonna pop.
I was talking about planning his death. We were talking about planning his funeral.
You're wag, bro. Why is Joe so serious, dude? You're like sitting there all.
I'm trying to like not have a coughing attack, right? So I should put the mute because y'all are on it. I'm not trying. I'm.
Miss, I was raw, dude. Raw dog.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
Sorry, Chuck. Forgive me.
About what?
No. Well, Carlos said before this got derailed. You said something about like carbon footprint, people kind of reducing the size of, where they live and all of that stuff, right? Yeah, potential global warming. I thought I like that topic too, but I think if you weren't concerned with any of that, I think as you get older, you naturally want to downsize anyway because you just don't want to deal with stuff. You know what I mean? You don't want to deal with as many things that you got to take care of around the house or whatever. You just don't need the clutter. You don't need the things that you buy. But there's something interesting about, at least my perspective, about the whole idea of global warming and this and that, and whether we do or do not have anything to do with it. I'm on the camp where I don't think we have anything much to do with it. I think the world has its cycles. I think just like Colorado has 4 seasons, I think the world just goes through its thing. You know what I mean? And I even have like a theological perspective of that. But to give you a little bit of why I think that, I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but the entire population of the world can fit inside of the state of Texas.
Wow.
So Texas covers about
like standing end to end,
like 100 layers
shoulder to shoulder. No, check it out. Texas covers about 268,597 square feet, which is about 7.5 trillion square miles, excuse me. And that equals 7.5 trillion square feet. The population of the world is 8 billion. So each person alive can get 935 square feet, which is the equivalent of a small apartment. All inside the state of Texas.
There's no way, dude. There's no way. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why.
Research, brother. Do your research.
No, let me tell you why.
And you're talking about stacked, or
and all I'm saying, no.
Dude, standing. Everybody's just standing.
Every person in existence would have 935 square feet, according to, the analytics of that.
You're talking about just space. You're talking about just like occupying space.
Nobody's
That's
saying we're all
that's
going to
not
live there.
life.
No, that's not. No, I know, Carlos.
Right?
I'm simply
So
making a
I'm just saying,
comparison.
like, perspectively.
Yeah, prospectively, like if we could all fit in the state of Texas compared to the world at large, are we really doing all that much damage to, you know what I mean? Like to the world, like to the global warming thing, if everybody could realistically just fit right in one.
No, we're definitely doing damage, bro.
well, think about think about how much you consume, how much you need to consume from this world to live.
Yeah.
Right? Like when you multiply that, forget about how much space you occupy. That's almost irrelevant. That like almost doesn't matter, right? It's the resources that are required to keep you alive. And in today's day and age, people don't just want to be alive, they want to feel alive, which means that they need to consume even more resources, right?
Sure.
So the amount of stuff that we need to survive and to thrive is just, it's crazy, dude. It's nuts.
No, and I'm just just giving us a little perspective, a little picture of
that subject is man, we could go on a
and I'm not saying we haven't done damage to the world. I'm just saying I don't think the level of it actually, warming.
You're not on the global warming, like
no. I just think the world goes through its cycles, and I think theologically, I think the world started dying when sin entered the world. That's what Scripture tells us. So there's like a reason why there's hurricanes and earthquakes and all that fun stuff. Not fun stuff. Sorry, I didn't mean to say it that way, but why those things happen, I think it's scripturally explained. Do we contribute?
It's explained, yeah, but you shouldn't disregard it, right? Because
disregard what though? What do you mean?
Disregard the death of the world. Like you shouldn't just turn a blind eye.
No.
Because it's the same argument saying, well, I'm going to die someday, so why do I need to exercise?
No. And I'm in no way saying we shouldn't take care of what God has given us. We should totally not be wasteful and not and downsize. I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, the world's dying. Like it's going to die with or without us, right? And at least from my perspective, but definitely we have to take care of it. Definitely.
But the world's going to be here for the millennium, right? That according to Scripture and Revelation, right? So,
and I don't. Well,
the 1,000-year reign is going to happen here on Earth, so it's going to be until that time. The concept that you're talking about, as it pertains to cycles, is an interesting one because how long does it take for the Earth to go through these cycles? Is it once every 1,000 years? Is it once every 500 years? Is it once every 2,000? I don't know, right? But that's an interesting theory that the Earth is going through a cycle and it's shedding its former state, right? And therefore, some of the what are they called? The icebergs. What is it?
The glaciers. And
so maybe some of the glaciers are melting because of that. Who knows, right?
But but I always think of what is their recovery, just because the recovery takes a longer time than actually being able to analyze. I don't know, because air quality, atmosphere, the way the ozone, people say the ozone's being torn away, but is there recovery to it? And I'm talking totally out of my realm because I've done no research, and I just think about that kind of stuff though. Like, is there recovery happening to the ozone, into the atmosphere, to the glaciers? Like, to eventually there will be a buildup back to those glaciers, new coming. I just kind of think about that stuff. That like I said, I'm totally out of my realm in that, but I do think about that.
Well, you present some very interesting questions, I think. I think the answer to that probably is contingent on whether or not you believe the Earth is alive, right? Because in theory, anything that's alive,
that's why I do think about it, because
can regenerate.
Yeah,
right?
And so that's why I do think about it.
Some things are just common sense. Mandy and I were talking about this the other day. I can't remember how we came across it. I think we were talking about, the legislation in Colorado that banned the use of plastic grocery bags, right? And so there's there's a legislative ban on the use of plastic grocery bags for retailers, and so everybody went to these reusable handbags that you have to pay for. And the question that Mandy posed was, yeah, but what about all of the other plastic material that we're still consuming? Water bottles, right? We're like everything we use.
Yeah, water bottles are terrible, dude.
I mean, the lid on my Yeti thing is made of plastic, right? So it's not to say that I'm going to throw it away, but non-renewable resources were used to create that lid. There are a ton of things that we buy to live and to thrive, right? That is made of plastic, which is a solid, sound point. My response to her was, well, yeah, but does that negate the value of removing all of those plastic bags from the environment? The answer is no, it doesn't. Like, it still helps. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't not do something because you feel you're not doing everything. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I feel like some people nowadays are so dismissive of environmental things because they feel like we're so far gone down the stream that what's the point? Well, the point is, if everybody were to contribute and if everybody were to make just small lifestyle changes, it would make a significant impact to the health of this world. I hope
you guys aren't hearing me say that I'm dismissive of doing that. I'm certainly not. I'm certainly like got rid of the water bottles. We don't do that anymore. There's a lot of things that we.
You got a hybrid vehicle, Joe. That's like the best thing going. You have the power of gas and electric. Like,
yeah, all I'm saying is like I think whether we do the best job or the worst job, like theologically speaking, like in Romans, it says we know that the whole creation has been groaning as in the pains of childbirth right up to the present time. Not only so, but we ourselves who have the first fruits of the Spirit. So just like we're going to inevitably all die, we had the topic tonight, right? We talked about it's inevitable. Let's do a will. Let's figure it out. Scripturally, the earth is going to die, is dying as well as a result of sin. If you come from a Christian background of that perspective, so it's going to die either way. That's all I'm saying. I think the global warming part of it is that I think we need to do our part to. I don't think we're contributing to the global warming. I think we're contributing to the mess of it. Looking, all these water bottles and crap that's floating around in the ocean, and piles of things. And anyway, I don't know. Hopefully I'm not going too far off topic there, but
no, it's crazy because this podcast is kind of taken off subject of our subjects, but cool topics, and So can you live in a tiny house, Vince? Can you live in a tiny house?
Hold on. Let me say one last thing about this whole environmental thing, and then we could go back to tiny houses. I think it's important for us to realize that everything is interrelated, right? And so if one thing goes, if one domino falls, another domino is going to fall. And so it's important for us to try and sustain as many dominoes as possible to keep them upright. A good example of that, right, is the health of the oceans. With all of the pollution that's going in there, you've got all of these reefs that are dying as a result. That's impacting aquatic life all over these reefs. Eventually, if it gets bad enough, it's going to start to impact food sources for so many villages and cultures that that like depend on this as a source of food. So all I'm saying is, let's be cognizant of the fact that everything is interrelated, from the snow caps to the glaciers to aquatic health and everything in between.
I agree with that.
That's my PSA.
That's good. That's good. I like it, man. Good stuff.
Yeah.
What about you, Joe? Can you live in a tiny house, one of them little tiny houses?
No, not for very long. I think it would.
Is it a space thing, or is it like you can't have your studio in there? Is that why? Like your lifestyle doesn't contribute to that?
Evie would be like, he farts too much.
Like, what's the issue with you living in a tiny house?
Man, maybe it's just the spoiled nature that we all have, I guess, of having what we have now. I don't know. I think it's fun. The idea of maybe living there for a summer, you know, in the mountains after retirement, doing something like that, or traveling around in something like that is super appealing, because it'd be cool to have all those little things all miniature sized and all in one place and mobile, I guess. But long term, I do like what I do like having the little studio and the little, you know, space and this and that. So not long term. I think for recreational reasons, for vacation reasons, for additional, you know, just a little getaway reason, but that would be it for me.
Do you guys ever see those TikToks that come on where the dudes catch a fish out of the stream, then they make their little, you know, stoves right there with the rocks and cook their fish?
Fire inside of the log.
Yeah, dude, that to me is so dope, man. I feel like I would be able to do that, and I would enjoy doing that long term.
Although,
But I have kids.
you would die, bro.
It would be like that show Alive. Like it would be you would lose all kinds of weight. You'd get the hook stuck in your thumb.
Oh man,
It'd be like Tom Hanks' Castaway.
You start talking to the
Wilson
instead of eating them.
No, dude, I think that's so dope. I would enjoy that long term. You know, if I didn't have other mouths that I need to feed, or other bodies that required, you know, water and food and sustenance and oil and gas and everything else to survive, right? Once, that's why I'm saying, once our girls are moved on and the boys are, you know, they're living on their own, everybody's happy, I think mom and dad will definitely try and move out to the country somewhere. I won't have, you know, livestock. I think that's a bit too much, but I could see us, you know, comfortably living in a tiny home next to a stream. That would be dope.
I just always think of like, because I someday, you know, down the road, and I know LeBeau's gotten a jump on it a little with grandkids, you know. I think of that, you know, having a place for the grandbabies to come, you know, stuff like that.
Do you guys ever watch Homesteaders on
Yes.
Dude, Mandy wanted to homestead. I'm like, you know what?
Rescue?
That's where I draw the line, bro.
Homestead Rescue.
Yeah, that's where I draw the line. There's no way.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna do no homestead. I need electricity. Just a little electricity.
They do have electricity. They have electricity and water. That's their whole thing, is that they try to get them the two necessities,
I don't want to do that.
electricity and water.
That's a weekend.
I'm going to tell you the issue that everyone would live out away from people. But here's the issue. The issue is two things: food and a hospital. If you have food and a hospital nearby, you should be good. Other than that, you're in trouble, dude. You got water, electricity, but you don't got a food or hospital nearby, you're in trouble. That's why they teach them ways to like grow their own food and have their own proteins. They grow, you know, they raise animals and they teach them how to garden, because they'll have food, but they won't have
my wife
nearby.
My wife is straight up a curandera now, bro. She's like the whitest curandera I've ever met, but she's dope. Like, she knows what homeopathic natural remedies, you know, for just about everything except for a broken bone. So, you know, as long as I don't fall off a cliff or
that's good though, man.
You know, get bit by a wild animal, I think we would be okay, man. You know, God forbidding, you know, disease is a real thing in the world, right?
Tell the difference between if you're swollen or there's just your cheeks. Like there could be, you know, indistinguishable thing there. But moving on.
He's got Botox on those. There has to be Botox.
Donut a day. That's all it takes, boy.
I could totally live in a tiny home. I would rather live in a barn dominium, though. Honestly, I could do like a big great room, a bathroom.
That's like the opposite.
I know,
dude.
Great room and a big old.
No,
oh my god.
Okay, maybe great room's the wrong.
I
could live a place where there's just a bathroom,
be better.
a small bathroom, a small kitchen, and a living area. I don't need to have a bedroom and like an 8-car garage, dude.
Yeah, LeBeau's like
8-car, dude. We went from talking about tiny homes to an 8-car garage.
Yeah, that's where I want to live.
It's like
I didn't say you had to live in a tiny home. I just said, would you do it? I didn't say you guys had to do it.
Yeah, but you're like, you're changing the rules, bro. You're like, can you do it? You're like, yeah.
I made up the topic. I'm allowed.
Like, I want to do it, but then I'd also want a pool, and I'd want.
just as long as it just sat in the driveway of my mansion.
He's like, I'd want to live in my tiny house on my back.
Well, ideally, it would be nice to be in a barn dominium. What would your ideal house look if money wasn't an issue, Carlos? Would you have 12 bedrooms, 12 bathrooms like Russell Wilson, or
No,
dude, that is such a great question, because my daughter asked me that the other day. She was like, I swear to God, dude, the innocence of children. She's like, Dad, do we live in our dream home? And it was such an honest question that I really started to think about it. I was like, well, I mean, when you think about what's in a dream home, right? We have all those things in our house. And it was really a question that made me reflect internally about what I would want, right, in a dream home. And dang, dude, I don't know that I would want anything else that I have now other than, what I have now. Of course, recreationally, like if you want to be closer to the mountains, or if you want to be closer to a lake, or if you want to, be closer to the wilderness, like a tiny house, right? That's other considerations. But in terms of like a dream house, man, dude, that question really threw me for a loop. And I feel like we do kind of live in our dream house. You know what I'm saying? That sounds really weird and kind of corny, but it really made me think about it.
you live in your dream house, Joe?
We love our house. We just don't like the location because of the noisiness of the street.
build
We live
out
next to a
around
busy
you.
street. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's like, if we could take this house and just move it somewhere else, we would be fine the rest of our lives. We really like it.
What about
Although it would be nice to have like a what do you call it?
A gym?
Just the one level house.
Ranch?
Ranch style. Yes, sorry. Ranch style would be
we have a
ideal, like,
ranch.
as you get a little older, just not having to go up and down and all that stuff. But yeah, we love it. We like it.
How about you, Vince?
We always say we wish we could have brought our house from Colorado here to Florida, because we really did like that house. It was like,
Yeah, it was a dope house.
It was like a bi-level, right? Like
yeah,
walking all three
Got a
levels.
nice yard. Yep.
yeah. We're eventually.
You actually had a nice life here. I don't know why you moved, sucker.
They love Disney, bro.
All your friends are here.
What's the temperature over there now? Just joking.
That is true, bro. It's freezing.
Dude, it's nothing, dude.
No,
3 degrees. So what?
yeah,
It is.
but no, man.
Like the way
I
they
think
talk today. Actually, you ever
we're-
notice?
Like
we just like to have enough space for where we have somebody, because we do have a lot of company coming over. We always have a spare bedroom. That's kind of all we what we need. Just spare bedroom. Eventually the kids will be gone, and it's like, then are we just gonna
2 other
downsize?
bedrooms, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. We're just
I
gonna.
stayed in the spare bedroom. I visited my friend Vince, and I stayed in his spare bedroom.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys stayed there.
Carlos, he's still yet to visit, so
Yeah.
Can I be honest with you guys? I have a weird thing about staying in people's houses.
you never
don't
used
know.
to.
I know,
Bro, yeah. What are you talking about? What? Where
Maybe
did
that's why.
No, as an adult, dude, come on. As an adult, bro,
It's your friend.
I know, but your family's there. Like, I wouldn't mind sharing a hotel room, or if we got an Airbnb, like just the guys, like that wouldn't bother me. But if you're in somebody else's house with their family, with their kids, it's like you always feel like you're intruding, even though you're not. Even though you feel like you're invited and everything, you just can't help but feel like you're a third wheel. So I just have that thing.
Cool.
So I'll probably just get a hotel room when I come down.
That'll probably be better anyway.
Dude, it's so crazy. Like I actually remember specifically like 5 years ago. In fact, before we bought this house, Mandy and I were talking about our dream house. And on this dream house, this was, again, like 5 years ago. On this dream house, I verbalized wanting a swimming pool. I verbalized wanting an outdoor. No, not yet, because I wasn't into fish yet. But today I would want to build like an outdoor pond for koi fish. And actually, I'm thinking about it in my head and where I would put it in my backyard, because I have, a nice backyard. So that would be something that I would want to build on it. But my version of my dream house 5 years ago versus today, it's crazy, dude. It's so different. And it's so much more simple today.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it has something to do with age and just feeling like, it doesn't take a whole lot more today for me to feel fulfilled.
Satisfied,
Yeah. So it's kind of crazy, whereas 5 years ago, I wanted the pool. I wanted, the larger rooms. I want, you know what I'm saying? Whereas today it's like, gosh, man, we have everything, honestly, everything we want. And that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work to keep up with those extra things like the
Yeah.
pool. That's a lot of work, dude. So it's kind of like a been there, done that. Don't want to go down the road of having maintenance, all that.
Having a boat,
having a boat, having an RV. Carlos has an RV. Did you even go camping this year, Carlos? Like,
dude, I haven't been camping since you and I went, bro.
Okay, that's 2 years. You have
dude.
Full size RV, like
paying parking,
so
paying parking, licensing,
everything.
Insurance. Yep, you're right. Did you ever sell yours?
I did. Yeah.
So you can't even go camping no more?
Yeah, I could rent a camper, or I could just rent a cabin.
That's whack. I would like to put in a hot tub though at some point in my backyard, dude. So I am going to need your help with that.
That's because that's like a recovery type of thing and a relaxing type of thing.
Yeah.
So you definitely do that. I got you, bro.
It's worth the whatever you got to do to maintain that, because it's better for your body.
It's not nothing at all, man. They got a little thing, you just pop it in there.
Do you have one in yours?
It floats around and you're done.
We would if we liked the location.
Oh yeah, you guys are kind of exposed right in the middle.
Yeah. Get in the hot tub.
all the neighbors are like, oh, there's Joe and his chonas again.
Boy, Joe sure is chiseling out that bod.
It's not even like that we're that close to neighbors, because we have a decent yard for
you do, but you still, I mean, you guys sit like on the bottom of that hill and the people are it's just
yeah.
No, I mean it looked high. It looks high from your patio because your patio's raised, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like if you walk down your stairs, you actually have a pretty
kind of if we put it like under the patio, it would be it would work there for sure.
With LeBeau's upside down pineapple party.
Yeah. Like it. Cool. Should we finish out some topics? Are we good, or what are we doing?
We're at an hour 27.
Yeah.
Whatever you guys want to do.
No, we could roll with the other ones another time.
We could even go back to these topics. It was kind of some unplanned stuff there.
It was.
I kind of enjoyed where this went tonight, to be honest.
Yeah, it just kind of flowed the way Carlos's back hair does.
Lyrics go.
The way his white stripe did.
Dude, getting old, bro. You grow hair so weird, dude. Like I'm not a hairy guy, but I have like some long hairs every now and then like come out of my shoulder, like just one long hair.
That's mad.
Long
hair, bro.
No, they're attached.
I thought you had headphones on one episode, but it was just your hair coming out of your ears. You didn't shave, bro.
So those are tight blackhead earphones, bro.
No,
I'm
it's
all-
been good though. It's been good.
I love you guys, man. It's good to know like where you guys'
Yeah.
headspaces are when it comes to things that are just not always talked about and stuff.
Yeah, thank God for the digital world, or else I probably wouldn't have 3 friends. So
Yeah, thank God for the
You
Yeah.
definitely wouldn't have one friend for sure.
Yeah.
you're such a jerk. Then you wonder why. Then you wonder why I give you such a hard
You have
time.
your Facebook friends.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Thanks,
I
Joe.
don't even think me and Carlos are
You
Facebook.
guys are all jerks.
Period.
I'm leaving.
I don't even think me and Carlos are friends on Facebook.
What do you mean? Yes, we are.
No, we are friends on Facebook. I'm the only one that likes anything on your Facebook.
Dude, I comment on your stuff all the time. What are you
I'm
talking about?
just playing, dude.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. It's been good, guys. It's been good. We'll hit those other topics because we do have some fun stuff. I would love to talk about the fitness trends and all that on next week or whenever we meet up. We've got some guests coming up here in a few weeks as well that Vince has invited, and it's just going to get better. This was
Hopefully. Yep.
episode 24 already. Like,
Yeah.
this thing's rolling. Everybody's watching. It's rolling, right? No, everybody's watching. We're sharing. You guys are watching, right? Out there in internet land. Okay.
Yeah, we're
Love you.
watching.
Please like, subscribe.
Me too.
Please
Yeah.
share, comment, like, subscribe, all the above. Please, we love you.
All right. Every internet land. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.
See ya.
Oh.
Peace.
Peace.